Hello, my name is Jim. In today's video, we'll be solving an interview problem on LeetCode called valid anagram in JavaScript. I'm going to solve the problem as I go so you can see the process that I personally follow. If you'd like to follow along, you can find the link in the problem in the description below. This problem says, given two strings s and t, write a function to determine if t is an anagram of s. It says we can assume that the string only contains lowercase characters. Easy enough to get around that, but that's fine, thanks. So let's jump in. Step one is always thinking about how you might do this by hand. Don't try to write anything yet. Just think about, okay, if let's say each of the letters was a toy letter that your kid might have. Could I just count all the letters, and if they match, you return true? Sure, that might work. Or, I don't know, what about, how do I get all those letters apart from each other? I could sort it into an array. Okay, cool. Well, then what could I do? I could sort them. And then I can look at each one, iterate across it, right, and compare it to the other. And that's pretty simple. I like that one, so let's go with it. And I always start by writing that out in comments or pseudocode, right? So I'm just going to say, we're going to split s, and we'll just sort it in line because I have that fancy function in JavaScript. And then we'll do split t and sort it. Then I'm just going to iterate across it. I personally prefer for loops because that's the way I learned it when I was learning C++. You can use the fancy, for each or whatever you'd like to use in JavaScript, but I'm going to do a for loop. For loop, and then we'll just say if I in s doesn't match I in t, we're going to return false. And if all that works, we'll return true. Easy peasy. So let's get this knocked out. Let's say we're going to have var sArray equals s.split. Then to split every character apart, you have to tell it to use the blank space. Otherwise, it's just going to try to use white space. And I've made that mistake myself, so don't feel bad if you do. And right at the same time, we'll just sort it. And then for t, we'll do the same thing. Equals t.split dot sort, just like this. Then we'll do a for loop. For loop var I equals 0, I is less than, we'll just do s dot length and do I plus plus. I'm a traditionalist, I always stick with I. You can call it whatever you'd like, though. If that makes it easier for you to call it something else, please do that. And I'm going to call it that. And then, if we're going to use the array, mind you, okay, if sArray I is not equal to tarray I, then we are going to go ahead and return false. Otherwise, down here, we can return true. Okay, that's not bad so far. Well, hold on a minute. What if s and t aren't equal in length? I might overrun the end of the array, and that can cause some weirdness. Well, let's just short circuit it then and say if s dot length is not equal to t dot length, we will just, and I realized I forgot the parentheses there, we'll just return false right off the bat because they obviously can't be a anagram. So let's see here. That should do the trick. So let's go ahead and run the code, take a look at the results, and make sure that it accepts it. Boom. Easy as that. So this was a relatively easy one, but the process is the same. We're not trying to solve all the problem at once. As we get more complicated, we'll start looking at, okay, there's a 3-step process. Well, how do we do each step, and then how do we combine them and work around that? So don't forget that it's okay to sit down and make mistakes. It's okay to run code. Don't get caught up with thinking that everybody sits down and writes this perfect code. You've surely seen the jokes about the hackers that sit down and slap at the keyboard and then they make code work. It doesn't work that way. So don't sit down and try to do that yourself. It's okay to keep making mistakes. That's how you learn. So you can refactor this as any way you'd like to. Hold on to it, get rid of it, doesn't matter. That's it for today's video. If you found this useful, please don't forget to leave a like, and if you'd like to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I know I did.